Hi, my name is Fred Newman. I'm the owner of the View Camera Store, and today I'd like to talk about BTZS paper testing. And I'm going to want to get back to where I should be here. So basically, if you remember back in video number 25, I showed how to do a paper test by putting the 4x5 step tablet in the enlarger and projecting it to approximately an 8x10. And if you remember looking at what the test should look like, you should have a number of pure black steps here that you can hardly tell the difference. Now you'd never be able to tell the difference between these three right here, and a number of white steps down here that you'd never be able to tell the difference. So we actually started with grade 2, and it seemed to work fine for all the rest. Now if you look right here on the left over here under the word step tablet, these are the actual density readings of my particular step tablet that I use for the paper test, and it happens to be the same step tablet I use for my film test also. And I basically using a color head, but I was using grade filters, Ilford Ilford variable contrast filters, and I did a grade 00, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So basically I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 paper tests. So what you do is you do the grade 2, and you get your exposure, and you have the height of the enlarger, how long you expose it, what f-stop, and all those things. And then what you do is you replace the filter with a grade 1, a grade 0, a 00. You have to be careful sometimes with the grades 0 and 00. You may need a little bit more exposure. You may see that you don't have enough black stuff, so you may actually have to increase your exposure a little bit. And then grade 3, and then with the Ilford variable contrast filters, I'm thinking of Ilford multigrade paper, that's why I keep saying that. With grade 4 and 5, with the Ilford variable contrast filters, you actually have to double the exposure. So if my exposure was, let's say, 10 seconds for the test, I doubled my exposure for grade 4 and 5 to 20 seconds. But I'd say when you're doing your test, as you're processing your film and it's in the wash, it's in the wash, you want to just double check to make sure you've got pure black steps on one end and pure white steps on the other. And again, I used these filters. You could go in half steps, like grade 1.5, 2.5, in between these. You can make this test as extensive as you like. The most important one, as far as, you want to see what your whole range will be, but the most important one you want to record is the grade 2, and I'll go into the details. Let me show you what the family of curves looks like. Let's just click on select all, and this little arrow gets you all the little data points here. So this is actually the computer plots of all these points. This is your actual density readings down here on each of the curves. All these little points are your density readings, and from the step tablet, these are all the step tablet values that you can see here are corresponding right on the bottom here. So let's go to the Analyze page. Let's go look at all the curves. Whoops, wrong thing here. Let's go to the family. Okay, so this is your actual grade 0 curves, 00, and the little black mark, little white lettering and little black square is the actual grade of the paper. So the grade 00 was actually a 0, and you can see here the grade 4 was a 5, and the grade 5 was a 5. The grade 3 was actually a grade 4, and the filter for a paper grade 2 was actually a 3. You have to remember, just because it says grade 2, it may not be. A lot of times when you test just plain old papers like in the old days that came in grade 2, grade 3 before variable contrast, just because it said a grade 2, a lot of times it would either be a grade 1 or a grade 3. So this is a good way to calibrate, because paper tests are important because you're always going to the one thing that you can't change. Remember, when you're processing paper, let's go to the data page here. You're actually processing most papers for 2 minutes. You're developing the paper to completion, so there's nothing you can really manipulate here. So the whole idea with Beyond the Zone system is you're matching the contrast of the scene that you're metering to your film and developer combination, to the light source that you're using here, and the particular paper you're printing on. You're always matching the one that you can't change, and the papers, since it's developed to completion, you're stuck with that, so that's what we do. So we'll vary the developing time of the film. So basically for this test I used Ilford Multigrade 4 double weight glossy projection. So basically the 4x5 step tablet was put in the enlarger just like a regular old negative, a 4x5 negative. The developer I was using was Ilford Multigrade developer, actually paper developer. The dilution I was using is 1+9. The developing temperature I was doing was 75 degrees. If anybody's ever been in Arizona, you know the cold water in the summer is usually 85, 90 degrees, so we're always fighting to get some reasonable temperature here. The time that I developed this sheet of paper for was 2 minutes, and all the different papers were 2 minutes. There was no toning done in this test. We'll talk about selenium toner test in another video. The paper was air dried on those little plastic screens, and this test was done by me back in April of '09. I have a whole series of paper tests I will be talking about in the future, but I just want to start with probably my favorite paper, Ilford Multigrade 4. And let's go on and see what we look like here. So let's go to the Analyze page. So this shows all the curves here. And let's go to grade 2 so we can analyze just one grade in particular here. So basically, this is a grade 3, the exposure scale of Ilford Multigrade 4 paper with the grade 2 Ilford variable contrast filter was actually just in the borderline of grade 3. So it's a soft grade 3, and I'll show you that in the next curve. You can see that the toe is a normal toe. It's got a reasonable shoulder here, a nice straight line in here. And this is the magic number here that we're going to plug into the film test. So this is what we're matching for in our developing for our film to this particular number here for this paper. So let's look at the chart and I'll explain a little further. So the grade 2 right here you can see is a 0.94, just a little bit below here. A grade 2 paper is basically and has an exposure scale of 0.95 to 1.15, so it fits in here. So you can see what's interesting, the grade 1 paper is a little bit hard, so it's actually in the grade 2 area. And then down here you can see the grade 3 paper is just a little bit in the grade 4 section, and the grade 4 paper is in the grade 5. So here's your grade 4, 5 right here, your grade 4 exposure scale, 3, 2, 1, and grade 0. Let's see what we have here. So what I usually do is recommend using the grade 2 so that when you actually go to print, you've got a reasonable amount of leeway to use a softer filter up here, grade 1, grade 0, or you could use a grade 3, grade 4, or grade 5, depending how hard you want to make the paper. So this gives you the chart that you want to use, and this particular graph gives you the number that you want to plug in your film test. And as I say, I'll be doing this for other papers, but you could see here if you want to increase it a grade, you know approximately how much of the filter you want to use. Now you could also, if this is your enlarger and your setup, you can actually do a little finer test than this. You could do a grade 2.5, 3.5, and all the in-betweens here also. I will show in the future one of these done with a color head that I use just with magenta and yellow filters, but I just want to start with graded filters that are easier for people to understand. I hope this video helps a little bit, and if you have questions, just give me a call. Thank you again for watching.